2019, Buckingham Palace archives. Digital archivist Sarah Chen was scanning old files, converting paper to digital, routine work, until she found a red folder buried deep, labeled restricted, not to be given to the heir. Below that, DS internal assessment, Diana Spencer. Sarah's hands shook as she opened it. Inside was a complete psychological assessment of Princess Diana, created by the palace, updated for years, marked specifically never to be given to William. But wait. This wasn't just a personnel file. The shadow file. First page, March 1983. Diana was 22, William was 9 months old. Internal subject assessment, confidential. Subject demonstrates increasing independence from protocol. Public popularity rises at unprecedented rate. Concern exists regarding long-term controllability. Subject. They called Diana subject, like an experiment to monitor and control. The file had updates, 1983, 1985, 1986, 1990, 1996, each thicker than the last, each colder. Sarah photographed every page before anyone could stop her. Hold up. The 1983 assessment revealed something shocking. Assessment 1, 1983. Subject shows emotional instability following birth of heir, exhibits excessive physical affection toward infant in public, resistance to household staff guidance. They documented everything, every time Diana held William too long, every time she cried, every time she questioned instructions. Popularity analysis. Subject's public approval exceeds projections. Media coverage overwhelmingly positive. This presents potential management complications. Management complications. Diana was too popular, and that was a problem. Recommendation. Continued monitoring required. Subject's independence and popularity pose institutional risk if not properly managed. Institutional risk. Diana at 22, already classified as a threat. Don't miss what they wrote in 1985. Assessment 2. 1985. Diana was 24. Harry had just been born. Subject's popularity now significantly higher than other family members, including heir's father. This creates image management challenges. They were comparing her to Charles, worried she was winning. Mental state evaluation. Subject exhibits depression and eating disorder confirmed by medical staff. However, subject refuses palace-appointed physicians. They knew about her bulimia, her depression, and documented it instead of helping. Then came the bombshell. Surveillance notes. Subject has expressed feeling constantly watched within residence. These statements appear to be accurate self-assessment, rather than paranoid ideation. Diana said she felt surveilled. They confirmed it in writing, because they were surveilling her. Security concern. Subject expresses fears regarding specific individuals within household and family. Names documented separately. See Appendix C, redacted. An entire page of names Diana feared, completely. Blacked out. You're not going to believe the 1990 assessment. Assessment 3. 1990. Diana was 29. The marriage was falling apart. Subject now openly defined a protocol, conducts unauthorized public engagements, demonstrates clear independence from institutional control. Diana was breaking free. They hated it. Public influence analysis. Subject's public platform represents a significant concern. Humanitarian work generates massive positive coverage. This creates power imbalance within institutional structure. Power imbalance. Diana had become more powerful through kindness. It terrified them. Trust assessment. Subject expresses distrust of household staff and family members, believes she is being monitored. Investigation confirms subject's assessment is partially accurate. Standard protocol monitoring has been in place since 1983. Standard protocol monitoring. Since 1983, they admitted it in writing. Diana wasn't paranoid, she was right. The next page had a handwritten note in red ink. Subject is becoming uncontrollable. Recommend increased measures. Increased measures. What did that mean? Assessment 4. 1996. Diana was 35. Divorced. Free. But the file didn't end. Following separation, subject's public influence has not diminished. Instead, subject has increased humanitarian platform. Subject now represents unprecedented challenge. Even divorce, they were still watching. Current concerns. Subject speaks publicly about mental health and family dynamics. These disclosures generate sympathy but damage institutional reputation. Diana was telling her truth. They saw it as betrayal. Relationship monitoring. Subject has formed relationships with individuals outside approved circles. Of particular note, subject's relationship with Redacted presents complications. Another name blacked out. Risk assessment, August 1996. Subject poses ongoing public influence risk. Uncontrolled popularity combined with willingness to speak publicly creates unprecedented situation. Traditional management strategies have proven ineffective. Uncontrolled popularity. Diana's crime was being loved and honest. The last line stopped Sarah's heart. Recommend continued monitoring until situation resolves, or subject's public influence diminishes naturally. Until situation resolves. What did that mean? Don't miss what was at the end. The final page. After Diana's death, September 15th, 1997, 2 weeks after Paris, handwritten in red ink, one sentence. If the heir reads this, everything changes. Below that, a stamp. Permanent restriction not to be released to subject's children. William could never see this file. Could never know his mother was surveilled for 14 years. Could never read that they knew she was suffering and watched instead of helping. Could never discover the names of people she feared. The file was marked to remain hidden forever. You're not going to believe what happened next. The leak. Sarah reported the file to palace officials. Within hours, security arrived. Confiscated everything. This is classified material. Sarah was fired 2 days later. Unauthorized access to restricted materials. Legal threats followed. She signed a non-disclosure agreement and disappeared. But her photographs survived. In 2023, pages from the file leaked online. Just fragments. Subject poses public influence. Risk. Uncontrolled popularity, difficult to manage. Expresses fear towards specific individuals. The internet exploded. Hold up. William finally learned the truth. William's response 2023. William was 41 when the leaked pages appeared online. His office issued a brief statement. The Prince of Wales is aware of historical documents circulated online. These materials are being reviewed. But privately, sources say William was devastated. He immediately demanded to see the complete file. Not the leaked fragments, everything. Palace officials resisted. It's classified for good reason, they argued. It would only cause pain to review these materials. Your mother was struggling during those years. This documentation reflects that struggle. There's no benefit to revisiting it now. But William insisted. He was the heir. His mother had been monitored, assessed, documented like a threat. And he'd never known. He had a right to see what they'd written about her, what they'd hidden from him. After weeks of tense negotiations, palace lawyers agreed. William could read the file, under strict conditions, in a secure room at Buckingham Palace. No photographs, no copies, no notes, just him and the red folder. 2 palace officials present as witnesses, 3 hours. When William entered that room, he was the confident Prince of Wales, father of 3, future king. When he emerged 3 hours later, staff say he looked like a different person. Pale, shaking, eyes red. One staff member reported hearing him on a phone call immediately after, speaking to Harry, his voice breaking. She was right about everything. Everything she told us. Everything she feared. It's all documented. They knew. They watched her suffer and they documented it like she was an experiment. Another source close to William revealed, he's been different since reading that file. Quieter, more protective of his own family's privacy. He understands now why his mother was so desperate to shield him and Harry from that system, because she'd experienced it firsthand, been broken by it, and they'd written it all down like research notes. William has never spoken publicly about the file's contents, but those close to him say it changed everything he thought he knew about his mother's final years, about what she endured, about why she fought so hard for independence. She wasn't being difficult. She was being monitored, controlled, assessed like a problem to be managed, and she'd known it all along. Don't miss what the file revealed about 1997. The 1997 addendum created early 1997, months before Diana died. January 1997 supplemental assessment. Subject's public profile continues to expand. Recent landmine campaign generates international attention. Subject building independent platform with global reach. They were still watching, still worried. Subject reports feeling under surveillance. State's vehicles follow her, believes phones monitored. While standard security monitoring remains in place, subject's perception exceeds actual measures. They admitted watching her but claimed her fears exceeded reality. Did they? Final entry, July 1997, 1 month before Diana died. Subject planning extended travel to France with redacted. Standard monitoring protocols will be maintained. Standard monitoring protocols for a trip to France, 1 month before Paris. The entry ended there. Assessment continues. Until it didn't. The letters. Buried in the file were references to Diana's private letters. Letters to friends, to family, to people she trusted. The file quoted from them, documenting her private thoughts, her fears, her secrets. In correspondence dated April 1990, subject wrote to, redacted, "I feel like I'm living in a prison. They watch everything I do. I can't trust anyone here. I'm afraid of what they might do if I leave." Someone had intercepted that letter, read it, copied it, filed it as evidence. In letter dated November 1992, subject stated, "Charles is still in love with her, everyone knows, but I'm supposed to pretend everything is fine. I can't keep pretending." Diana's private pain about Camilla, documented, used against her. In note dated March 1995, subject expressed, "I think my phones are tapped. I think they read my mail. I know I sound paranoid, but I found evidence. Small things moved in my room. Conversations I had in private repeated back to me by people who shouldn't know." Diana had found evidence and written about it, and they had documented her finding evidence of their own surveillance. Most chilling was the final letter reference. In correspondence dated June 1997, subject wrote, "If something happens to me, it won't be an accident. Too many people want me silenced. I'm being too vocal, too independent. They need me to stop or disappear. I've made a list of people I don't trust. I've hidden copies of everything. If anything happens, people need to know the truth." June 1997, 2 months before Paris. Diana had written those exact words, and someone had intercepted them, filed them, preserved them as evidence against her credibility, building a case that she was paranoid, unstable, not to be believed. Insurance. Don't miss the most shocking discovery. The names. Remember Appendix C, the page listing people Diana feared? In 2024, a second leak occurred, just 1 page. The redactions were removed, 3 names visible. People Diana specifically identified as threats. Within 6 hours, every copy was taken down. Legal threats issued. The names disappeared again. But people who saw them knew. 2 names were senior palace officials, people who controlled Diana's security and household. The third was someone in the family, someone close, someone with power. All 3 are still alive. All 3 protected by the system that created the shadow file. You're not going to believe the final twist. The restriction remains. William read the file in 2023. Harry demanded to see it, was denied. Under consideration, meaning no. Even now, the file remains classified. Harry has never seen it. The public has never seen the complete version. The names remain redacted. The full truth remains hidden. Not to be given to the heir. William was given access only because he demanded it after becoming heir. The file was meant to be buried forever. The truth. Diana was right about everything. She said she was being watched. The file confirms it. She said she couldn't trust staff. The file explains why. She said information was being used against her. The file was that information. She said powerful people wanted her controlled. The file was the control mechanism. For 14 years, 1983 to 1997, every time Diana felt monitored, she was. The shadow file documented her suffering, her fears, her truth, then classified it so her sons would never know. The file remains locked away, Mo still hidden, names still protected, full truth still secret. If the heir reads this, everything changes. William has read it, and he knows. His mother wasn't paranoid. His mother was being monitored, documented, assessed, controlled. For being too popular, too honest, too human. The shadow file proves it. Diana Spencer, classified as subject, monitored as risk, documented as threat, for the crime of being loved and daring to tell the truth.